we are going to jump into our presentation. I'm really interested and excited about this. Todd, I sent you his bio, but you know, Jim, do you want to? You said a little bit. Do you want to say anything more about Todd before we turn it over to him?
Well, I'm a charter member of the Todd Curry fan club. He brings great business sense and practicality to his work with high school students, and is just doing a great job giving these students that work in his program, and along with his brother Sean Curry, who's the wood shop and metal shop teacher, just some hands-on job readiness skills. So I'm really glad you guys invited him today to talk about the tiny house program.
Thank you. And Todd, I've made it so you can share a screen if you'd like, and we're turning it over to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jim. We miss we miss going out on all those business tours and things like that. You know, it's an important part of our program for the kids to actually see what goes on out in the community and community businesses. So looking forward to when we can do that again. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I talk through what I'm going to do because I usually am working with students, so just bear with me. Let's see. Here we go. I don't need sound. All right. Hopefully you all can see that, and we are going to go into presentation view. All right. So the Tiny House Building Trades program at McKinleyville High actually started back in 2018 with the Future Builders of America Club. We received a grant in the latter part of the school year 2018 from Tehama Office of Education. And we were funded for starting this program. We didn't have a class, we didn't have any materials, we didn't have any training. All we had was a student who is now at Cal Poly SLO studying architecture, who designed a tiny house. And so we got this money, we bought trailers, we bought materials from local businesses, which I will recognize at the end. And we went to Fresno to a company called California Tiny House, and worked with their people for a week with other teachers who were getting into this. It was part of the Fresno County Office of Education program. And I came back from my trip to South America in July, and the club members started working on it. And then we were able to start a class. I guess that would have been last year. It's hard to believe, but last August, a local grant program funded a section of the class, and the whole goal was to well, when the funding model changed for HROP, when the funding model changed on HROP, I'm going to ignore chats while we go. I apologize, and I'll answer questions at the end. When the funding model changed for HROP, we kind of lost our building trades program here at McKinleyville High. And so we were trying to bring it back and bring it back in a form that more students could be involved because it was on campus, and a form that would give all that, the different skill sets from plumbing to electrical to carpentry to roofing, all of those different skill sets, a chance here at the school site. So that, and it was only one section, it was at the school site, didn't require travel. And so we thought of tiny houses, and I'm going to go ahead and move ahead here. So that summer we had a couple students come out, and we purchased trailers through California Tiny House. These trailers are certified to support a tiny house. The certification process for a tiny house is a lot different than going through building codes, and I could spend a lot of time talking about that. And if you have questions about it, I'll answer them later. But we put in the rigid insulation, some decking, got it all swept off there, and leveled it. That was a fun task on the 18-by-8 trailer. Then we started doing some framing, and this is all by the club. So this was done after school. This was done on Saturdays. It involved, we didn't work on it when there were no students. We didn't have a place to work on it. So you can see the tarp there. When the inclement weather started, we had to tarp up every day at the end of our building time and take the tarp down. It was an interesting process. And my brother is kind of the brains behind the framing part. He's got the construction experience. I have the design and production management experience. So we meshed well together. This design, we didn't realize at the time, had close to an 18-foot span for the rafters. Those of you who are in construction know that that requires some pretty hefty beams. And we didn't realize it at the time, and it was very interesting getting those beams up and in place. We actually had a student from we had students not only from McKinleyville High, but we had a student from one of the charter schools in Eureka come over and work with us on Saturdays as well. So here we are putting in. We used metal roofing from Al's. It was a seamless metal roofing, and we learned a lot about putting roofing on. It's all wrapped up. We got some windows in. The windows were from McKinleyville Glass. He's a McKinleyville High grad and gave us a good deal on windows. And just one of more of our windows. We had a custom window in that bottom picture there. And that was an interesting window to frame in, again, learned a lot in the process. And we made mistakes. So part of the material cost was that we added 20% more material than what was needed for each. We bought enough material for 2 tiny houses. So we bought 2 trailers, and we bought material for 2 tiny houses. And we purchased about 20% more with the expectation that there would be mistakes made. Here's the interior. It's got a loft in it. You can see in the bottom left, you can see my brother would know the name of that, but the part where the stairs go up, one half of the stairs. You can see a picture in the bottom right here of the loft area with custom window on one side and then an escape hatch on the other, which is mandatory. If you're looking in this top right picture, you can look in, and that looks in towards where the bathroom is. And then what we did was we placed the shower over the top of the tongue so that we would save space. This thing is over framed. We framed it as though it were a normal house. So, but with all these windows that are like close to each other, there were a lot of places where we have 4 studs going all the way up to the rafters or all the way up to the top plate. And so when we talked to the gentleman from California Tiny House, he just chuckled and said, it's well built. It's overbuilt is what it is as far as the framing goes. And we got cedar siding from Schmidt-Bauer. And they gave us a good deal on the cedar siding, and it's all single length. There's no seams in the middle. We used 20-foot beveled cedar, and it's all oiled. Then we started getting in. We got the class going in August of 2019, and we started doing some of the interior work. And Mad River Rotary connected us with Mad River Plumbing, and so we had before COVID hit last year, we had the folks from Mad River Plumbing coming out and teaching our students how to install PEX. And so we had students installing PEX, drilling holes for drainage and planning for drainage, venting for sinks, things like that. We had a couple of electrical contractors come out and work with us on the wiring. So there was some of the electrical and the plumbing. So then we, let's see, last summer, or not last, I guess summer 2019, through a grant from Humboldt County Office of Ed, we were able to purchase a big awning. And we placed that right outside of our classroom. And we decided to, we moved Tiny, we call it Tiny 1, out from the main construction area by the classroom outside, because it had all nice oiled siding and a roof. It was self-contained. And we started in on what we call Tiny 2. And we decided that we did not want to have 18-foot spans. So we broke it down into 2 separate rafter areas, one above the loft and one towards the back where the bathroom would go. And these are some of the students. We decided instead of putting the shower over the tongue, we built this nice bay window. So there's going to be a lot of light in the living room area. So we built a bay window area over the tongue and moved the bathroom to the back of the house. So these are some of the companies that and organizations that helped us out. Alves with the roofing, Humboldt Fasteners, we purchased a lot of tools, battery tools, portable tools. Miller Farms was always good about hauling our trailer around for things like homecoming and stuff like that. Thomas Home Center provided the majority of the building materials at a very under their construction or their contractor rate. Almquist, I think we got about 30% off on the siding. It doesn't require as much siding, so I think what they had was they had some leftovers from a big order, and we were able to put siding up, purchase that siding at no wait, Almquist? No, Schmidt-Bauer did that. Almquist provided the paneling for the inside and a few other things. Mad River Plumbing has helped out. Crestmark donated a bunch of lap siding for us, we might use for the inside. Rotary, Mad River Rotary, Rotary International, they had their auction last fall, and we were able to sell some things there as part of our club and make some connections, which was nice. Pathmakers was a grant program run out of Blue Lake Rancheria, and they have funded the section, which was really nice to do. California Tiny House, that's where we got our training. Nick Mosley, who is the owner, is a big proponent of tiny houses and getting addendums done to various building codes. He's also I think the director of tiny house education. We are in the process of purchasing a set of plans that are certified and a set of instructional videos and a certification process through that organization so that we can keep building these houses. And he's basically has said that if you build it as certified, he'll sell it for us. And he's got buyers, and then he's also got organizations such as veterans, homeless veterans, and things like that. They are in the process of purchasing tiny houses to house people. Lost Coast Flooring donated. We've got a laminate floor we're putting in there, and then McKinleyville Glass provided all the glass for us. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. So one of the things about tiny houses is that they are not official dwellings. Unless you place them into an RV park. So you don't pay property taxes on them as long as they're on the wheels. You just pay for DMV each year. But as soon as you take them off the wheels and put them on your property permanently, then all of a sudden you get reassessed. So it's a fairly inexpensive way to add a dwelling to your property, but it can't be an official dwelling. So what's happening through California Tiny House is they are trying to get those codes changed so that tiny houses can be considered official dwellings. They are certified through an ANSI certification. So it's an industry certification. So they're supposed to be built to a certification of RV. So they're considered an RV. However, they're built they're stick built just like a regular house. So it's kind of a mixture, and it's a kind of a gray area. With that said, I don't know if it's sunny enough. I haven't looked outside yet, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to. Come on, let's see. You guys can still hear me? Yeah, it looks like you can. So we're going to go ahead and take a little walk outside, and we can actually see the tiny houses. I hope. Oh yeah. All right, so this must be why you guys are called Sunrise. It's beautiful. I'm glad the rain stopped too. So let's see here. So this one right behind me is Tiny One, and it's got some windows, not too many windows on that side. We had to board this people out because when school was out last spring, we had some people who wanted to live in the house, and they couldn't break the door down, so they broke the window. We also boarded up the front door, and we boarded up one of the other windows that was at the ground level. This one has the shower over the front, so it's kind of out. And then you can see the escape hatch. Or that's not the escape hatch, it's on the other side. Escape hatch and the bathroom window. The escape hatch is required by code, ANSI code. So this one's tiny too. And what we did was we built a little dormer up in the loft area to give a little headroom. And we're going to put a circular window up there. And you can see, we've put the bay window area in the front. Going to go inside. So this is kind of, you can see how bright that front living room area is going to be just from the sunrise. And then here in the back is an initial wall for the bathroom. And rather than swinging doors, we've been using, we have a student who designed a barn door, sliding door that goes on a rail. And so we've been using those for our bathroom doors because they don't take up as much room, floor space. These are, both of these run about 150 to 170 square feet. That includes the loft. And I want to make sure I leave room for some questions. So if you have any questions, fire away.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is we've got a question in chat, but then I wanted to, so are you going to sell these two that you're making now, or what will happen to these?
So thank you very much. That's something I completely left out, which is a very important part. My brother and I are not real good salesmen. We get stuff done, but we do not sell very well because it's just not in our nature. Let me hook up my mouse real quick. So yes, the goal is to sell these to help support the program. What we want to do is we can't make a profit because we're a nonprofit, we're a school. And so what we'd like to do is sell them for the cost of building them. So it'd be materials
and then the cost of the section of for the teacher. And that's about, it's without appliances. So far, we're looking at about $35,000 without the appliances. It does have the fixtures, the toilet, the shower, and the sinks, but it would not have like a refrigerator or a stove yet. And we're still figuring out the total cost because we haven't finished one completely yet. So.
Right. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is, so the first one you built probably weighs a lot more than it needs to.
Yes.
What is the weight on that one versus the other one, the second one, likely to be?
Well, the trailers are rated at 10,000 pounds, so we have not weighed them yet.
Okay. Yeah.
We have taken the first one around McKinleyville for homecoming, and it stayed up. It didn't creak. It was very strong. We had a bunch, so I don't know how much it weighs, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's something we need to do. The second one, yes, is significantly less weight because we don't have studs that are, 2x4s that are stacked 4 deep in the wall in places. So.
Right. So one question. Oh, I'm sorry. One question in the chat is, what does it cost to build a tiny house, and how much would it cost to buy one? I know that varies on so many factors, but anything you.
Well, thanks to some of the local businesses being very generous and supportive, and they have been supportive in my brother's wood shop and metal shop program this year in distance learning. Thanks to them, we were able to purchase for 2 tiny houses. We were able to purchase. The trailers are probably the most expensive part. They ran about $5,000 a piece. And we were going to try and have somebody take a look at them and reverse engineer them, but they're certified. They've got a sticker on them that says, it's industry certified for a tiny house. For 2 tiny houses, as far as all the wood and things like that, I think that ran about another $2,500 per tiny house, $2,500 to $3,000 per tiny house. That we have been purchasing. Everything is glued and screwed. So every piece of wood that connects together is connected with screws, and it's glued together because it's got to be supportive as it's transported. So I guess I'm looking at with appliances and everything. I'm thinking, and the cost of the teacher. Anywhere, depending upon what kind of countertops you put in, there's a lot of variables, but anywhere between 35,000 and 50,000, depending upon what you put into it. So, and that's an 8x18 tiny house.
Okay. And any other questions? You can just kind of wave your hand or something, so I know.
Let's see. Yes, Fresno, San Diego, definitely the ADU. I believe they have been working with the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors as well for making tiny houses an additional dwelling unit. I don't know where that stands. Let's see. Yeah,
I mean, Humboldt, with Ian, are you there? Humboldt is pretty ADU friendly. They're trying to encourage people to do that. It's whether they're allowing tiny houses to be that ADU, but we're working on it. We're moving in that direction, I think. So
I know there's an addendum that's going into some of the building codes that address specifically tiny houses.
Any other questions or comments for Todd this morning? I can certainly, if people think of something they want to find out about this project or anything, we do have Todd's contact information, and Jim also is close to Todd. And so I really do appreciate you being here. And I've always been fascinated with tiny houses. I think I could live in one. But I don't know if my cat can, so we'll have to talk it over. But in appreciation for you coming and speaking to us today, we are giving a donation to Tri-County Independent Living. And Tri-County supports people with disabilities and living independently in the community. And they do a great job, so we're supporting them.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You know, anything we can do to get the word out there and get, you know, have more business support, that all helps. And you know, Rotary has been really nice to us. So I you know, again, I appreciate the opportunity to present.
Well, and I know that that some of us, we were talking about the idea of, you know, even building a tiny home for some purpose, you know, for community or as a project, or so. I wanted us to connect with you, and so people knew that what was going on out there in the community. And
we're looking at the sales model for this. Again, it's very tricky because we're a school district. And so as we will have a ribbon cutting of some sort when the first one is ready to go. Our belief is that we do not work on them if there are no students. That this is for the students. And so since we shut down March 13th last year, and there has been no work done on them since. So as soon as we finish that first one, yeah, we'll let you know. There'll be some kind of notification, some kind of celebration, and we'll make sure that you guys are notified.
That's great.